Hello all. This is World University and Schools Hangout on Air on Monday, October 8th, 2018. It's 10 a.m. on the Pacific Coast in California, San Francisco Bay Area, and it's 5 p.m., I think, Universal Coordinated Time. People may well join us in the next few minutes. In the meanwhile, please do check out worlduniversityandschool.org, as well as the wiki subject pages in all 10 or 12 of our main areas from worlduniversityandschool.org. And the email address, if you have ideas or questions or suggestions you'd like to share, is info@worlduniversityandschool.org. I'd like to share today a little bit about a letter I just sent to the president of the World Bank, President Kim, and former Secretary of State and Provost of Stanford, Condoleezza Rice, about a question of how to create online flourishing universities that come out of all 200 countries' own traditions of learning in conversation with the Creative Commons 4 licensed MIT OpenCourseWare that's now in 5 languages. So this is in a blog post that from today that I'll put at the bottom of this YouTube recording at youtube.com/WORLDUNIVANDSCH. And it's in response to a Stanford talk that President Kim and Secretary Rice gave last Tuesday, October 2nd, about the World Bank and approaches it was taking to helping the 40% of the world's population at the bottom. And I'm hoping that World University and School as well, with our plans to be in all 200 countries, official and main languages, and also in all living languages, 7,100 living languages, 7,097 living languages, as wiki schools for open teaching and learning can help with this, and in job creation as well. But the question of how to create flourishing universities out of, say, all 200 countries' own traditions of learning, own cultures of learning, own approaches to learning in conversation with MIT OpenCourseWare is really interesting. So one approach would be find those communities in all 200 countries' main and official languages, say Wikipedia communities, who were already online and adding things to Wikipedia and sharing their knowledge about their countries in Wikipedia in their languages, to engage them to build out MIT OpenCourseWare courses in their languages for their degrees, so bachelor, PhD, law and medical degrees, as well as international baccalaureate high school degrees, are what World University and School is planning, in conjunction potentially with other degrees that a country might offer, is an interesting opportunity. In addition, the wiki aspect of creating a subject in about something that you learn. You can just add a subject to the subjects page, say Korean birds in the Korean language, and click on that word and turn it into a subject page itself, and then begin to start teaching or learning wiki editing to that Korean birds wiki page from, for example, a Korean perspective. President Kim of the World Bank was born in Korea and came to the United States, I think, as in his first 20 years. So from that perspective, Koreans could create a whole approach to learning about Korea in the Korean language, engaging Korean traditions of learning about birds. There may well be a long oral history of learning about birds in Korean that goes back centuries or longer, that could be cultivated in new ways on the World University and School wiki subject page for Korean birds in Korean. And bringing together all these approaches to learning, using the example of the Korean language and Korea World University and School about Korean birds, but also about calligraphy, Korean kanji, or writing, if it's not called kanji, that has a very, very long history and a very, very long culture of learning around it, all of which could emerge in new ways by Korean Wikipedians or Korean universitians, world universitians, that would then create potentially a flourishing learning community online around the Korea World University and School in the Korean language. So that's one approach to further developing a learning tradition from a specific country and its specific language, main language, tradition that might flourish in very, very interesting ways online at World University and School as we move into flourishing group video conferencing, and then flourishing even group video conferencing into a realistic virtual Earth. So you'd have video conferencing in a topographically rich part of Google Street View with time slider. You'd have 2 to 10 people all talking with one another, maybe on a hike in a Korean mountainous area, in very new ways that could further take one to locations in Korea in Google Street View where birds in a certain season were to be found, and the learning could emerge in a Korean tradition in this Google Street View environment with Google Group Video Hangouts, people, you and I, in Google Group Video Hangouts, potentially learning about these birds in the Korean language. Korean group of ornithologists could teach this. The Google Hangout could translate it to other languages through Google Translate that were possible for the other speakers in the Google Hangout in the realistic virtual Earth that weren't familiar or from other languages, for example, and those could be many. I think Google translates in 100+ languages or so. So these learning traditions could and will come out of all 200 countries' official languages and potentially out of 7,097 living languages. And I'm hoping World University and School will be able to create flourishing cultures of learning that emerge specifically from country, a place, a region, a language in new ways, and in conversation with MIT OpenCourseWare centric degrees. In this example of Korean birds and as a new wiki subject page taught in Korean, the MIT OpenCourseWare in Korean is a very interesting dovetailing resource. Are there any courses that would touch on any aspects of, for example, Korean birds in the Korean language in this Korean MIT OpenCourseWare? So since other people haven't joined this conversation today in this World University and School Live Hangout on Air, if you have questions or thoughts or ideas, please post them in the comments underneath this YouTube video, which this Google Hangout will become, or send an email to info@World University and School, and we can carry on the conversation from there. So looking forward to exploring creating a realistic virtual Earth for Korean cultures of learning with people and maybe Korean birds that would facilitate furthering a flourishing culture of learning. youtube.com/WORLDUNIVANDSCH for this World University and School Live Hangout from October 8th, 2018, or previous ones. And see you next Monday, October 15th, I think it is, 10 a.m. Pacific time, 1500 hours, Universal Coordinated Time. And until then, I'm Scott McLeod, World University and School Hangouts on Air. Look forward to further conversation then. Bye for now.